So here is a demo for what I have done for milestone 1 of Game Engine 3. So starting it up, you can see that this is what it looks like. You can see I've got the strings and words, which you just pass in when you're creating the game object font is what I'm using. And you just pass in the string that you want to create, and it will write that on the screen. And then you can set the position of it based on where you want to do it. And this is a scale, even though I know you said that usually you don't scale fonts. But for the purpose of this, I just use the scale. But as you can see, it's got the two strings. You've got the humanoid running animation, and then you can swap it. Right now I have it swapping to the, which one is this? The shot animation. So you can see him do that. You can see the Teddy switch from the walk animation to the idle animation, and then human goes back to run, or it can go back to this, and Teddy can switch between the two as well. You can see that I have the regular models here, which is normal. I kept the alien sprite because why not? And then the two models of the Astro Boy and the Space Frigate are just created from these pack files, which came from the converter. It's just how I had it. These are standard. Animations are created by just uploading an anim file and a hierarchy file, which creates the animations, which then you load into the game object animation, along with the graphics, which right now the graphics isn't actually doing anything because it's hard-coded inside there, but in the future I can change it so that this actually matters. And for the purposes of this demo, I have them as globals, just so that I can reference them in the demo, and you can see it's just keys to switch to animations. So to show a little bit, you can see that it uses the images that you gave us based off of rects, and it's going to be holding the texture and the rect and the image, and then that will be passed into the graphics object, which will then be in the game object 2D, which is this one. And you can see it's just the normal game object 2D, which has position, scale, and I don't know how that happened, but and then it's got update. And then I am currently working on switching my game object manager so that instead of using a PCS tree, it's just going to have, or actually it's not even using a PCS tree now, so I can delete that, but I need to switch it so instead of using game objects, it uses something called a game object node, which is just going to hold a reference to whichever game object it's supposed to hold. Because in the case of game object anim, I have it so that it has a tree in here, and it's basically got all the data, but it doesn't actually draw anything for this object, so it's no reason for it to inherit from a game object. And the same is happening for the game object font, which is coming off a game object, but it really can just be a node, which would be much better in terms of separation between these and the actual game objects that will be drawn. Because both this one and the other one have draw functions, and all they do is iterate through the list that they hold inside them and draw it. For this font, you can get positions. Basically what it does is it adds characters based on the string that you pass in, and I have it so that it gets the rectangle that's correct based on character you throw in, and it's just a giant switch statement, which is kind of slow, and I should probably make it better, which I'm actually not sure how to yet, but I'll figure something out. And then just adds it to the list. And the other ones, like the custom models and the animations, I showed how I did those in previous milestones for the previous classes. What else was there? Oh yeah, I am still working on dynamically changing the screen or the fonts so that I can move around the rectangle within the, so that if I want to, I can change the characters without just creating new images, which is just by changing which rectangle it's referencing. But the version that I tried right now is sending me to get random pink around my letters, so I need to still figure out why that's not working. But yeah, as you can see, animations, you can just throw as many animations as you want on here. You can swap the animations, you can throw a bunch of models, sprites, and other stuff, and it will all be separated so that it is ready for skinning. And that about sums up what I've done.